This guide is intended for completely new players. They want to start out as miners. Yeah, well, there's a lot of things they can do, and Star Citizen is pretty much an everything game, but this guide is focusing if you're really starting as a miner. So I'm going to be making a couple of assumptions, but starting from the initial screen, what you want to be doing, you want to be clicking here in the persistent universe, which is going to take you to the character creator. If you have already done so, feel free to skip. I will be providing links in the bottom. So you just go click on the character create. We're going to be addressing it just briefly. And you have here the capability to do and sculpt pretty much every single aspect. The head, the face, the hair, the styling, the cheeks, pretty much everything. Or you can just randomize all and hope that you get something that's totally not completely bonkers. Now, if you have a pre-made character, you can just load and save. So I'm gonna do it like this. This one is the guy that actually most resembles me in the real life. Well, sort of. I'm not that handsome, but then you go to review and you're gonna be accepting that character. Now, if you're a really new beginner, I suggest you do play the tutorial because it's gonna teach you the basics of the controls, but I'm gonna assume that you already know a little bit about every game, so my suggestion is here you're selecting your primary residence. Now, if you're starting a miner and you want to be going like the crafter route, you want to make all of the blueprints and stuff, then you're gonna need to first acquire them and get the missions. So your system should be starting with Stanton. That's my recommendation. Ultimately, if you want to be hunting blueprints, Orison has a lot of in the area blueprints that you can hunt. My advice, if you want to be starting as a miner and really starting from the scratch, is to start in Lorville. We're gonna get to it why, but let's get into the game, shall we? And you press confirm, and then we go. Don't be alarmed if this loading screen lasts for a good portion of roughly north of 1 to 2 minutes, depending on the fast of your drive and internet connection speed. So yeah, I'm gonna just skip to it until we get there. Alright, so for the initial spawn, you're gonna be spawning within your hangar. So let me just explain briefly what's there. So in the top left corner, you have the map. At the right in the middle of the center, you have your orientation, which is in degrees. Standard, you know, like compass. And in the bottom you have some tooltips, and bottom left you have your health and everything. So just for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna press F12 to remove the chat, because there's like also a chat that's there, so that it doesn't confuse us. Here in front of us, this is the fleet manager. This is our ship panel, so the ship you bought. And if you're a miner, I'm guessing you went with a small mining ship. And we're gonna go with the Drake Golem. That's a starter mining vessel. So you're gonna click, and you wanna click request delivery. That means the ship is gonna be delivered to your location. Now observe, it says here retrieve. So you wanna be checking here, and you're gonna be pressing the retrieve button. Now, once you see this, then your ship is gonna start, the elevator is gonna go down, and you're gonna start to do through everything. So you gotta wait until the ship appears. While we're waiting, we're gonna have here, this is your local storage within the ship, within the station. Let me just talk to you. If you press I, you're gonna get to your inventory. Now, depending on your pledge, what you bought, you have either nothing or you have plenty of stuff here. So, the stuff that I want to be noticing pointing your attention to is that you want to go to the kiosk and press F. That's pretty much the same way where you can access the inventory. Now, if you didn't buy anything or in addition, don't worry. Usually what you start is you can check the utility. Almost everybody starts with a pyro multi-tool, and that has become true since the engineering was introduced. So you want to double click it. If you double click it, it's going to be shown in your tab, and here you can have different attachments. So here in the attachments, this is the tractor beam, or you can have the Cambio Light SRT attachment. At this point, I'm primarily focusing on the Cambio Light SRT attachment, so it's connected basically to this guy, and I honestly don't think that you can grab this in addition, so we're gonna bench it for now. Also, don't forget that in the ammo slot, you have the canisters. This one is only going to be used for repairing your ship if you need to do that. Nothing else. we're gonna be focusing on mining today. So let me just run over to my beautiful Drake Golem, and as you can tell, I always like to run. You're just pressing W or Shift to run extra fast. But if you want any cinematic shots, you press F4 and then you can just slowly go while you're holding the Z and swinging your mouse just to look this cool. Look at that go. I think it's awesome. And it's basically a new miner's guide. So you turn your mouse, you look it down, look at the camera, smile, press a print screen to grab the screenshot for today, and then let's go in. So the Drake Golem is rather a small ship. It's a small mining vessel. It doesn't have a lot of things. You have your fuel port, which you can open. And I think on the other side, you have one place somewhere to store things, I think. Anyway, what you want to be coming to the canopy hatch and press F. And then what's gonna happen, the canopy is gonna open and it's gonna be welcome you in. I mean, that's part of the standard procedure of onboarding somebody. Now, when you get in, the cockpit is gonna close around you. Everything pops up, and all right. So now the controls depends if you're on a mouse and keyboard. I'm using the dual VKB joystick Gladiator, so that my controls were gonna be slightly different, but I'm going to be posting the cues to the commands in the screen overlay. So what you want to be doing first, you want to be going flight ready. So you turn on the flight ready, which is going to be indicated by the key press on the screen. And there you go. So that turned on all of your engines and you are ready to go. Now the next thing that you want to be doing is you want to be also requesting the takeoff clearance. So you do that and you will notice the configuration hangar request completed. That's a notification telling you that things are being handled. Now I tend to use Tobii Eye Tracker, so if you will be interested to get it, I have the link in the comments below. Now it's time to take off. So we gently take off and we should be going upwards, I'm guessing, because the hangar door is opening above us. So if you started at Lorville, you'll be staying at Teasa Spaceport. So the idea is that we get up, and as soon as you get out, you might want to withdraw your landing gear, which is going to make your ship go up a lot faster. Now, all right, point upwards, and we're gonna be kicking on the afterburners, and we're gonna look incredibly cool while doing so. So there we go, look at us go. We're going, oh, it's raining today. Oh well, you know, Lorville doesn't have the most beautiful climate or the most cool looks. I prefer New Babbage, but for the miners it has many advantages, which we're going to be discussing further within this tutorial. However, so first thing, you want to be switching to the nav master mode, and that's the nav with quantum jump. And now I'm pressing the afterburner just to get out of the atmosphere, because my quantum drive, the drive that actually propels you to go really fast, doesn't work until you get out of the atmosphere. And as you can see, now it's telling me it's online. Perfect. So the next thing that we want to be doing, first thing that we're going to be doing, we're going to be going and setting our spawn point at the orbital station that is above the planet Hurston, which is the home of the Lorville. So, and that station is called Everest Harbor. Everest Harbor, you can also search, you click it, and then you say route. And now it plotted the route. So now we should get the marker. You will see the orange marker here. I mean, depends on your ship, but mine is Drake, so it's orange. You point to it, and then you're gonna see calibrating. The moment it's calibrating, you press your trigger or click the mouse button, and the quantum drive is gonna engage, and you're gonna be coming to the Everest Harbor. Now, the thing is, my advice is when you're flying with the nav mode, you're flying really fast. You're flying like 1000 meters per second, and it's very easy to hit the station if you're too close. Now, if you're coming a little bit slower, my advice is just don't point straight at the station, point somewhere near it, and when you're close enough, switch again the master mode to the SCM. This is going to decelerate you, and then request the landing clearance by pressing the landing clearance key. you're gonna get communication, and then the orange indicator is gonna be pointing you towards your hangar, where we want to be coming. Fly towards the hangar, easy does it, ever so gently. Yep, there we go. I like to go on a very, very slow and steady approach. Then once I come close, I pop down the landing gear, I press the landing gear down, which actually slows my ship to 29 meters per second, which is really comfortable if you want to be going for the landing. So, going in, I go usually straightly nose down, and as I said, I'm on dual joysticks, so don't mind me, you do you. Make sure that you come in. My advice is usually always point your nose towards this self-land thing, because that gives you a little bit of orientation. And once you just go straight down, the idea is down, down, down we go, and we have landed. Now, typically you want to be turning off your engine while you're here. And one thing that I want to advise you that you always do, press F1 to get your Mobiglass up, and go to the landing services and always refuel your quantum and your hydrogen fuel. That way you're never gonna run out of fuel. Now, while you're in the station, I suggest you press and hold Y, which is gonna be opening the canopy, meaning we are gonna go in and we're gonna make sure that we are gonna set our spawn point to this station above. Why? Because it's actually a lot more convenient to leave for any place. And there is our little golem. So normally people would advise you sometimes to store your ship. We're not gonna do just yet. It's not needed. What we're gonna do instead, we're gonna be calling the elevator. You come to the elevator, press F, and then it's gonna say elevator called, as you can say. Now we're coming in. We have a couple of things to do at this station before we embark on our mining journey. At least that's my suggestion that you do. If you have enough money, I'm going to show you an additional step that's going to help you do even more. Now, once we're at the station, you could also go to these screens and store your ship, but we're not going to do just yet. Now, usually on the same floor where you are, you always have a burrito bar or something where you can buy food and drinks. And you have usually the habitation and the medical clinic. So the habitation is on your right hand side, and next time you spawn, you're going to spawn here. This is going to take you to Galleria shopping mall and also cargo hangar station, but let's first go to the medical clinic. Now there are multiple screens. One is immediately here for the patient check-in. You're not looking for that one, but you're looking for this is the second one where you can actually buy med pens and health gear. But what you're looking for is this, where it says insurance. So you go to the terminal where it says insurance, you press F, and here it says accessing records. What you want to be doing is pressing the transfer imprint and confirm. So congratulations, you have now essentially set your spawn point at this station where we are at. That's good enough. Now, if you're going for combat missions, I would advise you to go here and buy med pens and all that necessary, but we're gonna mine, and you're probably gonna die anyway in the beginning, so it's not really that important. Right, so the next thing, we're gonna be going to the in-station elevators. They're always marked with these green lights, and I would advise you now, let's go first to the Galleria. Now this step is optional depending on how much money you have. So if you press F1, this is a PTU, so I have 15 million. Usually you're going to have roughly around 5,000 AUEC. Now if you're a complete beginner, I would advise you not to do this, but if you have already flown and you have a rough idea what you're doing, then it might be a good idea that you do this. The reason being is now we're looking for a station where you can actually buy gear. This thing. Now, a lot of people would tell you, kit yourself out properly. No, you're gonna die a lot, so you don't want to do that. My advice would be, let's assume you have 5,000. So what we're gonna go with armor, and I'm gonna be looking for torso. I'm gonna be looking for the cheapest one, and that one is, I think, usually this Mech Flex. It goes for around 1.6 thousand. You have even Link's core. Is it like light armor? Yeah, and it actually has even this cool aesthetic. I don't know. I prefer honestly mech flex, but that's okay. You do you and I'm gonna do me. I'm gonna go with black. You just press buy. Buy one. There we go. The next thing that I would suggest, go with backpack. Now backpack is also this Max Flex backpack canary. That's gonna give you a plenty of storage room. It's gonna look utterly ridiculous, but I still advise if you want to have store stuff, it's a good idea. Now, you don't have it per se, it's bought to the station. However, we're gonna go back to the elevators. That's always this inner station transit. We go in. There are multiple reasons why you want to be buying this armor, and I'm gonna show you how to equip it. Now we're gonna go to the cargo center. So, this is the place where you can actually buy this pyro multi-tool, and you can buy more advanced tools in the future when you'll be needing. So, you get in here where it says supplies, and hold on, you want to be coming in, and remember that we had this pyro multi-tool. So, if you press here and write pyro, here you can buy pyro multi-tool for 461 bucks. Since I have it, I'm not gonna do that. The next thing you can buy is also tractor beam attachment, which is this one. True hold, don't buy this one. This is expensive one. This is a tractor beam attachment for your multi-tool. Now I have it, but I'm gonna buy one anyway just to show you. I press the quick buy because it immediately transfers it into the station storage. Now in the future, if you will want to rent ship that you don't own, you can get to this traveler screen and you're gonna have the capability to buy Argo Molt, Nomad, Cutlass Black. This is usually a very nice starter that can transport a lot of cargo, and you have multiple other ships that you can rent. So now the idea being is you go back all the way to the elevators, and next to the elevators you're gonna notice these kiosks. Those are the same ones that we had in the hangar. So now since we're here, you're not gonna have access to everything you bought, but you're gonna have the access to what you bought here. My advice would be really simple. Just double click, which is gonna equip the Max Core Flex, double click, which is gonna equip the backpack, and then this one, tractor beam attachment, you can just place it and drag and drop it here in the attachment. Now you're fully kitted out for your spacefaring adventures. So we're gonna go and do just that. The reason being, why did I suggest that you go and do this? Now you can go to your hangars and habs. And most of the people like to start with a specific mission in mind. While I see no problem with that, if you just want to mine and learn how it works with mining, I would suggest otherwise. I would suggest, now there are two options. You can either get to your fleet manager, but you already have your ship at the landing pad. So if you observe, oh no, Dray Golem has been stored by some reason. Okay, well, we can always retrieve it. However, this can actually get sometimes buggy, so my preference is always go directly into the hangar. I call the elevator, I pressed F on the elevator, and once the elevator comes, I'm gonna go all the way, scroll down and press GrunfWorks small hangar. That's gonna get us all the way to the small hangar where our ship in theory should be there. We're gonna see now if it's bugged out or not. Nope, our ship is there. Cool. So we have everything we need. Now, depending on where you want to be mining your materials, what you want to be mining. Now, people previously always mined Hephaestonite and other kind of Quantanium, which is a real bit level pro thing, so I'm not going to do that right now. Now, for crafting, you're going to need a lot of different materials. So my thing is keep it simple. You have two options. Option one is let's go into the hatch, press F and get ourselves into, and then I'm going to be showing you what you mean. You can do mining in two various locations. One is you go to the Lagrange point and mine the asteroids. That's convenient because there you have a refinery as well. Or you could go planet side to do the mining there. Now I'm going to show you mining at the very simplest thing. So now what do we want to do? We want to turn on all the all the systems, making sure that we're ready. Request the hangar clearance. You might be added to the queue, but this time we were actually cleared for takeoff, and you can notice by the shadow that we are being let go. Perfect. So easy does it, just gently easing it up. The moment we clear the station, we're gonna do... I always love this. This looks so beautiful. Shall we just grab a cool screeny while we're at it? Look at us go. This is so beautiful. Yes. Raising the landing gear. There we go. Perfect. So now, for simplicity's sake, I'm gonna show you the mining at the Lagrange point. Remember, you can take any planet and then scan for various minerals. The procedure is exactly the same, but for simplicity reasons, we're gonna be going to the Lagrange point. Just make sure that you don't hit the station by accident. I have done this on multiple occasions. Now, once you're sufficiently far enough, press F2, and now we are at a planet called Hurston. So the way you go, you just write HUR, and it says Hurston-L1. That's the Lagrange point station. I always go at Lagrange 1 because it's usually the closest one, Lagrange 1 and Lagrange 2. I always like Lagrange 1 because for my perspective it's the simplest one. Now, there we go, did it. Let me guess, we just need to point that way. And then we need to switch to the master mode, Hurston Green Glade Station. Our quantum drive is spooling up, and we click the trigger and we go. Now I like to usually switch to a very beautiful view of my ship going through the quantum, just because it looks really cool, and it also gives me a perspective to show how it looks when we are arriving at the Lagrange point. There we go, so beautiful. I mean, Star Citizen has such beautiful ships, it's not even funny. There we go. Now, this is the station where we arrived. This is Lagrange 1. So, normally, I would say we're gonna go towards the station and set our spawn point there. But what would be the fun in that? So, now what am I doing? I'm gonna do the ping, and I'm gonna go towards the asteroid field. So we're gonna go towards asteroid field, and we're gonna try and find something to mine. Now, you might be getting these effects because, well, we're traveling quite fast, whether you believe me or not. Okay, we have something unknown. We're usually looking for these unknown fields. It can be debris or it can be something to mine. What I do, I switch my mode, not the fracture, not this, not QT, not FLT, scan. And when I'm going towards something, I typically point my nose towards what I find to be scan, and then I'm trying to locate the signature. At this point, I have no idea what did I find. I'm trying to see if the signature says anything, which is kind of weird that it doesn't. Oh, 2000. Usually, if it's a multiple of 2000, that means debris, which is actually salvage stuff. And that's something is not interesting for us. So we're gonna go and point towards something else. We have another 14. Now 1690. This might be something else. This might not be salvage material. So this could be something completely different. What I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna be switching from this unknown, okay, all the way down. Corundum, okay. Corundum raw, that's a mining material, so we're gonna be arriving there, and you don't want to be going too fast. Notice in the top left corner, I'm gonna just briefly show you where it is. I'm gonna take my pair. This means that I'm in scanning master mode and the SCM mode, so I'm gonna be slowly driving or flying all the way to the first Corundum node, which we can then scan. Just be careful that you don't ram into them. It's very easy to do such a mistake. There we go. Easy does it. We don't want to be going too fast. Now, this conundrum, there could be rocks that we can and we cannot mine. So now you want to be switching your mode to mining. And right now we're in the fracture mode. So we're going to get quite close. This is indicated by this marker here. You want to be coming in closer within the optimal range. So here it says corundum, it has aluminium, it has corundum, and it has some inert material. So we're gonna get quite close, and then we need to mine. You mine, simply be very careful. Mining is a very skill-based thing. So what I typically do, I'm gonna be making sure that I can go at minimum speed. Now I press the laser, engage the mining laser, and now I need you to observe this area. Charge level is gonna start charging up. You don't want it to go to overcharge, but you need to keep it in the optimal range long enough so that it comes to, and you do that by shift and scrolling your mouse up, and it's gonna be increasing the laser strength. So let's do that now. So we're raising up the strength, and then we should be seeing the charge level starting to climb. As you can tell, for me it's climbing quite slowly, but there are a lot of, for most part it's corundum, but we're gonna be also benefiting some aluminium from it. So just want to be, you don't want to overcharge it, because if you overcharge it, it can blow and destroy your ship, and so it takes you down with it. So be very careful when you're doing so. I can also just go a little bit back to make sure that I don't hit it and overcharge it. Okay, come on, 99% laser. Should I be going slightly in? Yep, there we go. At optimal level, it's still gonna charge. So now you gotta be really careful. Remember, the smaller the rock, the quicker the charge level is gonna go up. So you want to be really careful when you're mining. In this case, there is also some instability, which means it can rise quite quickly. So, now I actually quickly reduce the charge level. Usually, once I hit the optimal range, I typically just really carefully lower down the... Then I also raise it a little bit up. It might pop up a little bit further. You have to be really careful. It's a very finicky game. So yeah, you can tell that I'm regulating my laser charge level. The moment it's done, it's gonna then just, and usually towards the end, I just reduce my laser charge. And as you can tell, there we go. Perfect. So now it broke into smaller pieces. You have to scan each individual piece to understand which components are there. So as long as it points yellow, that means you need to break it further. So be very careful with that. Fracture. This one says it has raw corundum and some aluminium. So for me, that's absolutely something that I want to pursue. I'm already at the optimal range. Now, observe how quicker is now rising. Once I start charging it, I'm at 20% laser, and it's already going up. So there, if I just gently nudge it further, it's gonna rise pretty quickly. So be very careful when you're doing so. Alright, so 30% it's already climbing like there's no tomorrow. So the sweet spot, I would say, is around 29-ish to make it sure that it climbs gently. Or 30-ish, see? And it's even harder because it moves. If you would just point somewhere else, I'm not touching the flight controls at all. And sometimes you even need to disengage the beam so it doesn't go into the overcharge. For example, I've now disengaged it, and then I'm gonna engage it again. There you go. That's another strategy that you can use to make sure that you don't hit over the mark. And again, release it and then start again. So it's just maintaining the right level of charge. Now, if it overcharges, I'm gonna show you even that, but you have to be really careful. Okay, and now it broke into smaller pieces. Now, the pieces that are purple can be scooped up. So let's check what is in that piece that's purple. It's raw corundum. You want to be switching to the extraction mode, and then you start extracting. You will notice that your cargo is being filled here, and it went poof. Perfect. Now, what do we have here? Let's check out. And sometimes you need to go a little bit further in because it might have drifted out of the range. Corundum raw, 100%. Now, corundum is another material that's used in pretty much everything that's needed. So let's check. This one is purple. What does this one have? So that's the practice, what you need to be doing for the most part. Okay, are you scanning? What do you have? Corundum. Okay. So just observe the scan results and make sure that you pay attention to whatever you're doing here. There we go. See? The life of the miner is actually pretty boring, but that's a good thing. So here we haven't scanned what we are doing, but we are picking up aluminium ore as well. Perfect. Now there are multiple chunks, so let's check out what does this one have. Note that I'm still in extraction mode and it's yellow outline around the rock, which means I'm not gonna be able... This one is raw corundum. Now I would prefer to actually focus on the rocks that also house aluminium, because aluminium is a very useful component. So let's check what this rock has. You don't need to do anything weird, you just keep it in front. That's also raw corundum. Let's see, what does this rock have? I mean, there could be that we're gonna take multiple corundum rocks, but okay, this one has two qualities of corundum, 501 and 509. Do we have anyone more with aluminium? So we're just gonna quickly check that. Let's go in. This is raw corundum, and the last one, I think. What else do we have here? That one has aluminium, and that one is actually a very good portion of aluminium. Okay, so we're gonna go optimal range, corundum, laser. Remember to reset it to minimum, and let's go fracturing. Let's see how quickly this one charges. Yeah, pretty quickly at the minimum charge level, meaning I'm gonna need to do start-stop method on this. Start-stop method usually means that I stop my laser as soon as it gets a little bit further up. There we go, and then I press stop. And okay, it almost went into the overcharge. Then I start again. Once it gets medium, then I stop it again. So that's basically how I do start-stop technique to get the rock cracked. Making sure that you can actually crack it in a safe way. Okay, the rock cracked. Perfect. So now we're gonna swap to the extraction mode because the outline of the rocks has changed. We have purple. Let's check the top one. What does it say? You have to wait a little bit for scanning. Let's just see what will it say. Corundum, and that's a lot of inert materials. You don't want to be picking up that. Inert materials is just garbage, meaning you're not going to get a lot of value from this. You have to always check the percentage of the rock. So let's see, what is the composition of this one? That's aluminium, 50% aluminium. So I'm going to risk the 50% aluminium to get also these inert materials because I really want to get aluminium. All right, there we go. Then what do we have here? This one is what? Talk to me. %100% aluminium, beautiful. See, this was well worth it. And that's 1.4 SU, which is actually pretty decent load for this rock this small. Now, there's a bigger rock over there. That's a corundum rock. What do we have here? That's 200 meters. That's not the one that we scanned. Okay. So, that one we're pretty much not gonna use for the corundum. Now, let's see. What else do we have? We have two rocks here. We have 100% corundum and another 100% corundum. This is 509. This is 509. Instability, resistance 10, mass 1477. This one is twice as big. So I'm guessing if I mine this one first, I will be able to, let's just withdraw to a safe distance, because if it breaks, it's gonna damage me, and I don't want to do that. Switch to the fracture mode. Yeah, that one has a lot of instability. What about this one? Yeah, they're equally bad. Okay, let's do this. So Corundum, start mining, and it's once again starting to rise, as you can tell. Now observe, I'm not increasing the laser power whatsoever. One of the typical tricks that has killed the most miners is that you have your laser not set to minimum when you're doing the subfractures, and this is called a subfracture because we've already cracked the biggest rock. So now the moment it starts climbing, you immediately stop, once again start. Some people prefer to just remove their beam from the rock. I found that I have more control if I'm doing the start stop. Oh, now it went a little bit into the red. That is usually not a problem, but what I tend to do is once it goes there, I tend to withdraw just a little bit before it breaks. There we go. So it doesn't hit me as bad. Okay, extraction mode. Let's check. We know that this is already corundum. I mean, we've already scanned this. This is 100% corundum, so I'm not gonna even waste time to scanning because we're just knowing we're getting corundum. That's fine. There we go. A second one. This is also corundum. Usually you get 3 types of materials per mined rock. So this one is also corundum with the raw, and that's decent quality, 509. It's not something to write home about. So we're gonna be fracturing that one as well. Yeah. Or actually, maybe we should just see if there is another rock that has maybe better yield. So let's check this one. Let's just scan it and see if we can get something better out of this guy. Mass. Okay, we are in the optimal range. 9,000 corundum, raw, and aluminium. See? Still good. Let's start cracking. Now this one, you will notice, takes a lot more power to do. So I'm gonna increase my laser. Just make sure that I can get it up so it actually starts cracking the rock. There we go. Remember, this is an actually really chill game, the way you can do it. If you need a little bit more power in the rock, oh, there is a lot of instability here, so you might need to be very careful how you adjust the power to this. Usually that instability means that you start shaking and it goes up into increments. What usually works for me, I just try to maintain level at the point where it's not going down, but it's not going up either. And usually you always find that level if you're fiddling a little bit with it. For example, see, here is 68% where the charge is stable enough. Now, the bigger the instability and resistance, the smaller the optimal window is and the bigger chances of overcharge. Instability means your output is going to vary significantly. Sometimes it can vary very wildly. But this one is a simple rock and it's good for a tutorial, so I think it's kind of okay to show you. Now, we'll obviously need to go do subfractures on this. Let's scan. What do we have here? We're going to look the one that has highest yield of aluminium. So this one is corundum, 540. What do you have, Sunshine? Talk to me. Corundum, aluminium, inert materials, 34% aluminum. Maybe we have a better one. This is 100% inert materials. What about this one at the back? It's always good to inspect what you're dealing with so you know where you can find the best rocks. And that's the part of the fun in the mining. I actually 15%. This is even worse. What about this one? So far we have the 30% yield on the rock above. So what do we have here? Corundum. This is 100% corundum, so this is decent. Oh, okay. I'm gonna crack, I think, the one where I have aluminium with the highest. Oh, didn't I scan this one already? I thought I did. Maybe I've missed that one. Let's see, what does this one have? 100% corundum. So I think this is the one where we get corundum and aluminium. So let me get within the optimal range. Just easy does it. Reduce my laser. See, it says 99% laser. If I did that, I would blow up like nobody's business. So look at that. It's climbing. So that means even 20% of laser power is already almost too much for it. So now the procedure on the planet's surface is exactly the same, except you have also to worry about hitting the rock bottom. So, okay, we're gonna do the start-stop method again. It's climbing up. And the moment it comes anywhere near the top, we kill it, and it's still gonna rise a little bit. So remember, there is a small delay to whatever you're doing. So careful. Now stop. And then it goes. Stop and go. You see? Then we go, and then we stop again. Okay, now we stop. So now it's gonna crack, hopefully, without our involvement. Perfect. Now we have purple outlines. We are gonna go into the extraction mode. Now let's see if we can get the most aluminium for our buck. 100% aluminium. Beautiful. That's exactly what I was hoping for. So you shouldn't be put off if there is low percent of aluminium. You can still get a lot of aluminium if... Okay, this is inert materials. We're not gonna do that. What's this one? Talk to me. This should be corundum if I'm guessing correctly. Now let's see. Corundum, aluminium, and some inert materials. I mean, there is value in this clearly. Cool. So we're gonna be taking that one. So you've seen how the process works. Now I could be continuing this on and on because, well, it's enjoyable and it's fun. However, here we have 100% corundum. So if I crack this one, I could be getting multiple pieces where we just collect corundum. And 540 is a decent quality. So I'm gonna be fracturing that one. We're just gonna go a little bit back. There we go. And let's see if we can get this one to crack. There is some instability, so let's see. We're gonna crank up the power. It immediately shoots up. Look how quickly it goes. That's fine. We're gonna be reducing that the closer we get to the breaking point. And then, okay, we're dialing it down to say 26%. How much is it going up? By a little, okay. 30, let's go down to 25. I just want to keep it near the optimal range. There we go. We don't need to go any higher. Keep it on the bottom floor just in case it pops up. So it's still rising. I can still reduce my charge by a little bit. Let's go down all the way down to 20. Is it rising with 20? It's not. Perfect. That means this is the optimal charge level. This is a really skilled game, still skill-based game, so you have to be really careful with what you're doing, but it's really satisfying and fun to have it done so. Now, we know that this is 100% corundum, so we are not even gonna bother scanning the components. We're just gonna go into the extraction mode and we're gonna be extracting all of it. Because it doesn't even have the inert materials, so yeah. There we go, then we go to this guy. We just zero in to get it easier extracted. There we go, let's take this one. We also know that this is corundum, so we had this rock was at 100% corundum, so there was really no point in suspecting anything else. And then this is the corundum, the last one. Now, this rule is applied for pretty much every single rock and mineral. Some might be easier, some might be more difficult, but that's the gist. Now, we're gonna be going back to the flight mode, and let's go and search for our beautiful station, which should be ultimately somewhere. These are the rocks, meaning the station is over there. There we go. So I'm gonna be showing you now how to do the mining, how to do the refinement. So now you want to be oh, I did put the accelerator brake. We're just gonna remove that. Now I tend to go into the nav mode as usual, and as I told you, I'm gonna shoot beside, next to the station, because once we will be flying quickly, if you don't succeed at braking, you might be hitting the station and then you're dead. So no point in doing that. This way, once we get actually quite close, then I then I quickly swap back to the SCM mode, like now, and then I request the landing clearance. So by the time I'm granting the landing clearance, oh, there we go, GrunfWorks small hangar. So we just go straight in there and everything is gonna be perfect. The small hangar is on the inner circle of the station, and if you like this gameplay here, you might as well be selecting this as your spawn location. I'm going to show you where it is, and then you have to obviously refine. So what we're going to do, we're going to go just gently in, and if you're flying a little bit fast, you want to be popping down the landing gear at this point. It's gonna decelerate you to roughly 30 meters per second, so you go easy, very nicely. Okay, now that was, if there was ever a butt-clenching moment, this was the one. Now let's land. Easy does it. There we go. Turn off all the engines, and as always, as I've taught you, F1, landing, refuel hydrogen. Cool, we're done. Now let's get out. And at this point you will want to store your ship, because that's the only way how you can actually unload your bags. I mean, you can do it with the tractor beam. They're actually here, Drake Interplanetary Cargo, but I think this is actually more convenient for the beginner players. So you come to the Fleet Terminal Manager, and then you press Store. And then it goes off to the storage. So we're gonna go into the refinery, and then you have two options what you can do with the, you click the F to get the elevator, and we're gonna get to the refinery deck. So we go in, make sure that you select and click the lobby. I'm holding F and I'm clicking the lobby. All right, so you go out, and now if you want to, once again, you go to the medical clinic. If you want to be setting your spawn location, you once again look at the insurance terminal, you go to the regeneration panel, and you once again go transfer imprint. That's going to ensure that your spawn point is now located at this station, which is convenient because here you have all your refinery jobs. Now we want to be going all the way to our refinery deck. So we are looking for that elevator. You just have to schmooze around until you find it. Each station is different. You go and you call the elevator, and we are coming to the refinery. Now, refinery is cool for multiple purposes. This is where you get all of your ores refined, everything gets processed, and also you can get paid, and also you can actually get the refined materials which you can use later for crafting. So let me just quickly show you. Oh, I really look silly with that backpack, don't I? Okay, never mind, I'm just running past. You just continue straight. Refinery is a little bit big, and you have two places. One is this mining support center. This is the shop where you can buy a lot more mining materials and all the necessary stuff that you want. Stampede modules. Mining is actually one of the most well-developed loops in Star Citizen, so there's a lot to learn. We're barely scratching the surface, but if you come here, you actually can buy all of your mining supplies here. The stuff that I would like to show you, if you press FAB, then you have 100k fabricator. So this is used for crafting. This you can buy right here, but it costs 100k. You're probably not having that money at the moment. So let me show you how you can earn it. You go exit and you go towards the second floor, here up, and now you have two options. One is you actually sell your ores directly. So we're gonna go to the ore sales, and we're gonna select location, our Drake Golem, and we have here a couple of things that we can do. We have the inert materials, which I don't think we can sell, and we have the corundum raw. We have to see what do they accept. They accept aluminium ore, corundum raw. So see, we can actually, if we sell corundum, we're gonna earn 14,000 AUEC. So we could actually sell everything, or we could just select, let's see, can we sell a certain portion of it? I don't think we can select a certain portion of it just to select something. But what we can always do, this is selling. If we refine, we'll go here and press refine. You set begin, and then you have like, okay, select material location, Drake Golem. Set up the work order. Now we have a bunch of materials. Here you select the process. It depends on the process, how long it's gonna take, how it's quickly. I usually use the Ferron exchange. It's slow, but it's cheap and it gives moderate yield. So when it comes to aluminium, I know that I want aluminium. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be selecting these two to get refined. I'm also gonna select the higher quality corundum to get processed. Inert materials, I'm not. So I'm gonna get the quote on these materials. It's gonna take half an hour and it's gonna cost me 82 AUC. So I'm gonna confirm. They cannot be recovered one if this is acceptable. Okay, so I guess maybe we want to refine everything. Okay, we're gonna get a quote. 43 minutes and I press confirm. So now 43 minutes is gonna take us until this is done. You could also have gone here and sell. If you need the money quickly, that's my advice. So here you can sell the inert materials and well, we could actually, why am I offered to sell hydrogen fuel? I don't want to sell hydrogen fuel. Okay, maybe just inert materials then. Okay, fair enough. Oh no, it tells me 2 AUC. So if I sell to materials, no thanks, got it, perfect. So we have gotten the 2 AUC, beautiful. There we go, we are 2 AUC richer from this transaction. Now let's go into the real crafting. Shall we craft some coffee? Okay, apparently that didn't work. So crafting coffee doesn't work yet in this version of Star Citizen, at least not in the refinery. So the final piece of this tutorial and puzzle is gonna be 43 minutes. You have to wait for the real time 43 minutes, and then you actually either use these materials to build various things using the crafter, or you schlep them to sell them to the TDDs at various locations. So at this point, we're just gonna go to the hangars and habs. And grab ourselves a very beautiful seating place while we wait 43 minutes off camera, of course, to get this order processed and done. So let's grab a nice seat, set our ass here while we have the beautiful view over the area and many people while we're waiting, and our backpack is clipping into everything. Well, see you in 43 minutes, I guess. Welcome back, citizen. This is 45 minutes later. I've logged out and I've logged back in. So I have woke up in the habitation, and in the habitation of the Hurston Lagrange 1 base. So you get out of your bed and you get into the elevators. Once again, the chat is set to on. I prefer to have it off, just it's a little bit more beautiful footage and it's also peace and quiet. So having said that, our job, refinery job, should have finished, and we're gonna be check that by taking internal transit, calling the elevator by pressing F, and we're gonna go all the way uppity up. Elevator should be coming any second. Yes, and let's go to the refinery deck. Okay. Somebody I thought wanted to come in. Well, he didn't make it, apparently. We're going way up to the refinery deck. And there we go. So we're gonna go back to the area where we initially had all of the jobs that we have put. So we're gonna get right over there. Yes, I know, we're running ever so quickly. Look at me, I'm in top shape of my life. Okay, so now refinement process. So you log it back in, and 1 completed work orders waiting for you. Perfect. So, select the storage option, Hurston L1. If you had a ship which would have a cargo carry capacity, you could have chosen a ship here. But we're gonna be just collecting. We have corundum, we have aluminium. Collect. Yes. There we go. So, that's delivered. Now, if we go to the ore sales, I think now we can no longer select the ore. We have only Drake Golem. Yeah, we have nothing here. All right, fair enough. So, the problem is that we have only the Drake Golem. Now, ideally, you would want to go to the admin office to sell the wares. So, either to the admin office or the TDD, Trade Division Department, I think it's called. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be checking out where we can sell it. I think you still need to have a cargo hauling ship, which we're going to be visiting. So let's go first to the Galleria, actually. We're going to go to the Galleria. Oh, Hangars and Habs. Yeah. I wanted to go there first. Okay, fair enough. I give up. Let's go to the Galleria first, shall we? Normally, there are 2 places where you can sell your wares. One is Galleria, and if you're trying to sell to Gallerias, you're gonna go to the TDD, sorry, not to the TDD, to the admin office. Admin office is always denoted by orange markings. For example, you can say that it's actually here. Now, here is the commodity shop where you can trade commodities. So now we're gonna be selecting Hurston L1. Do we have any commodities where we can buy? You see, cannot sell. That means we cannot sell the corundum or any aluminium. That means we need to schlep it. So we're going to be schlepping it to the city site TDD. All right, now we know what we need to do. And here is the reason why I told you initially you wanted to go and sell your first set of ores. So you want to be selling your first 1 or 2 shipments of ores, because that's gonna give you enough money to do what I'm about to show you right now. So we're gonna go back to the refinery deck and we're gonna check if we have some rental ships. I forgot, I thought that this station had a cargo station, but it doesn't, so it only has the refinery deck. Now let's see, is there a rental kiosk where we can rent a cargo hauling ship? So let's check out. So first of all, these are the refinery shops. Usually here, equipment rentals, vantage rentals. So those are the rental kiosks. So which ship can we rent? Grey Cat Rock, Cuddy Black, that's a pricey one. Miss Prospectal Mall, Drake Golem, that was one we used, and Miss Fortune Salvage. So, okay, that I guess means only, in our case, we have, for the most part, we have the Cuddy Black, which we can take, I guess. Come on. Yeah, we have the Cuddy Black. But in the most cases, you could take, okay, the Prospector is also light mining, which has some cargo storage. And this is the Golem, this is the Cuddy Black, Argo. Mole is like a huge and expensive ship. So in our case, we're gonna be renting the Cuddy Black, and that's 52,000. However, I'm gonna show you where you can rent cheaper ships. Remember, we have been in the Everest harbor previously, and you could theoretically go all the way to the Everest harbor, where you could actually say, fine, for the 9,000 AUEC, you can rent the Drake, what was it, Cutter. Drake Cutter is a small ship with a very small cargo grid, but should be just enough for you for your initial haul. Ultimately, if you do first like 2-3 hauls and then decide you want to take another ship, that's also doable. Now this one won't be paying me a lot of money because I have taken a very expensive ship. I mean 52,000 for a Cuddy Black. it's not gonna be paid off by the cargo load that I have collected here. However, I want to show you basically the principle. You want to take either, for example, Nomad would have been a good choice, and even the Drake Cutter, which is 9,000 AUEC rental. So we're gonna go all the way. Wait, where should we go? Okay, I went into the screen apparently. That's funny. Now, yeah. Here is where your tractor beam is gonna pay off. So right now we're gonna go and we are gonna be calling
to the ASOP vehicle retrieval system.
Now remember, I have the rented Cuddy Black. I mean, there are multiple ones that I have available to me, but then again I wanted to see, do I have a smaller ship like the Drake Cutter? I don't have. Okay, fair enough. Then I'm gonna take this one that I just rented. I'm gonna request a delivery, and then I'm gonna ask it to be retrieved.
Stand by.
I think because this one needs to go to the medium hangar, so that's the reason why I rented it from here rather than going to the small hangar, because if I went to the small hangar I wouldn't have been able to rent it from there. So we're gonna be taking our Cuddy Black. There we go. Hopefully it's not all crooked. Nope, it looks actually kind of good. That's fine. Beautiful. Cuddy Black is already a serious hauler, and what I'm gonna do, well, you should never walk when this is like caution. So now what we do, we go to this is called the cargo elevator or freight elevator. You go to here, you press stage. Now here is everything that you have successfully mined. So we're gonna be lowering the elevator. And then we're gonna do, can I somehow peg those up? I have no idea. This is the first time I'm seeing how it works like that. Okay, and let's raise them up. This is the first time I'm watching them being raised up. So how do they look? They look like the regular SU boxes. Perfect. So now it's time to load our Cutlass Black with the cargo that we have. So we're gonna go and we're gonna open up the ramp. Now the cockpits and all of the ships are exactly the same, so there's really no point of, you know, mentioning anything else. So let's go in. This is the cockpit of the Cuddy Black. It's a little bit more serious ship, and you can tell that it's like rather big. So now once again, turn on everything, make it flight ready. I think it's Alt L. Then you want to be opening your rear bay doors, and typically I like to fly actually with this view because it actually shows me how to position myself for easiest loading. Now there are two ways how you can load your cargo bay. Now one is basically you just making sure that you are well lined up. You back it up a little and then you just land softly. There we go. And then you turn off the engine just to be on the safe side. And now I've opened all of the doors, so I'm just gonna go in. And now what you're gonna be taking is, now if you had the spec storage, you would have had the tractor beam module. So you just drag and drop it onto the next one. There we go. And then you press 5 to get the tractor beam. So with the tractor beam, you can actually now take all of the corundrum and everything else, how much is loaded, and yank it up into your ship. And I think that's the easiest way. Now there is always the manual loading. Come on, let's detach it. Okay. I always like to position myself somewhere midway so it's easiest for me to just load it up correctly. Now I'm a sucker for stacking things nicely and making sure, see, average quality. Oh, I got hit by a box. Yeah, okay, note to myself, don't do that. Okay, there we go. Just easy does it. Corundrum. What? Tether braking, it's too far. Okay, fair enough. You can use the ship's tractor beam. That's also possible. It is a little bit more fiddly, so that's the reason why I'm not showing you that. Especially on the Cutty Black. Cutty Black doesn't have the best angle for... Did I get once again hit by this? Yes, of course, you betcha. Now, sure. Now, if you wanted to do the crafting, then you would have left everything right there where you initially picked it up. Okay, let's take Corundrum. And right now, please don't hit me. Wait, let's make sure that I load up everything. There's the cargo grid. It's attached. Perfect. Now, store my tether, close this, and we're gonna be going planet side to the TDDs. Because I think that's the correct place where you need to sell this stuff. Okay, enter the pilot seat. So, the next step that I plan to do is I plan to lift up slowly, turn on the engines clearly, lift up slowly, go ahead and make sure, oops, wrong angle, there we go, I'm just making it easy does it. Then I'm gonna be requesting the takeoff clearance, and the door should start to open, and yeah. While we are waiting, I might also be ready to go to Hurston and Lorville. That's the idea. Let's just easily get ourselves out of this place. I mean, the Cutty Black feels like a proper ship, doesn't it? Okay, oh, I have my side doors open. Don't mind if I close them. There we go. You don't want this sweet cargo to fall out, right? Now, having said that, switching to the quantum drive navigation mode, and the next thing to do is queue up Lorville. So, we go here, we go Lorville, there we go. It's a place. And now, let's hit the route. The route has been drawn, which means we are on our way. Let's go, point ourselves, prograde, and wait until the quantum drive locks in, and then we're off. Calibrating, ready. Hit it, maestro. Oh, I mean, Cutty Black looks just so cool. I mean, it's one of my favorite ships in the game. I know there has been many ships, Apollo, Constellation, and others, but Cutty Black always does it for me. It gives me that frontier vibe, where you're on your own, you're doing your own thing, and nobody messes with you. That's why that's the only ship that I actually pledged for reals. Yeah, there we go. See how it looks beautifully. Perfect. All right. So, arriving to the Hurston, the next stop is Lorville. Now, Lorville is 1.9 million meters, so we just need to wait for the cooldown. Once it cools down, we're ready. Once again, hit it, maestro. So this time, I think we're gonna do a circle around the planet a little bit. And there we go. Engage the quantum maestro. Star the Citizen is just so beautiful sometimes. I mean, once this crafting has introduced a lot of gameplay loops and given you the reason why you want to mine. So this what I'm showing you selling, it's the old loop. The new loop means you're gonna go and you're gonna be selling tons of stuff. You're gonna be crafting a tons of stuff. However, this is just to get you that initial 100,000 to teach you what to do and how to do it. Quantum drive is now off. Now, when you're coming in hot, you want to be coming to a location. Okay, let's just go to the flight mode. You're looking for the blinking lights, and always where's a blinking light, there is the spaceport. I mean, CIG have realized that without the blinking lights, it gets really difficult to actually find the right place. So right sooner rather than later you want to be arriving, and you see these little hovering signs that say Teasa Spaceport. That's ultimately where you want to be coming. So there should be a lot more these landing lights, and once we come actually close, we're gonna be requesting the landing permit. You just have to be careful not to collide with the terrain. Sometimes you don't see it. Oh shoot, restricted area. Okay, now leaving restricted area. There we go. There is my hangar. Hangar request completed. So I should probably switch to the SCM mode. Weapon locked in Armistice Zone. Yes, we are in Armistice Zone. I don't want to be firing on anybody. I'm just looking to dump my load. Pardon my French. Yeah, alright. So, we are getting closer. There is our hangar. So, gear down. I always like to dive in nose first, you know. It's just a habit I have. Yeah, I'm leaving the safe zone. I'm coming in. Heads down, face down, nose down, call it whatever you want. There we go. Easy does it. And now, the cargo elevator is actually here. So the way I see it, I prefer to just back it up nicely. Slowly go. The closer you get in, the easier unloading is gonna be. So, there we go. I typically like to hold Z and rotate just to confirm that I am correctly placed. Now maybe a little bit to the left. And let's go down, making sure that we don't hit anything on the way down. Perfect. Turning off the engines. Now let's see if I can show you the alternative way how to unload these boxes. You go to the co-pilot seat. There you are. You want to make sure that everything is powered on. Power on. Click the power on to get the screen. And then you enter the remote turret. Now we have power. So now these controls are very fiddly. You pick up your crate. X mass exceeded. You're kidding me, right? Apparently there are some... Well, you know, if everything else fails, there's always the manual. So, yeah. Now, press 5 and let's just unload stuff. We have aluminium with decent quality that we're just gonna be dumping everything onto the grid, shall we? There we go. Corundum. Oh, I managed to get myself hit by the box again. Oh, that's gonna be a meme for this episode for sure. Now, let's get up. Okay. Corundum again. Yes, please. That's just beautiful. I mean, okay, CIG, please fix this. It's not even funny. We're taking the next one. Again, I mean, seriously, I've never touched this. This is weird. Fortunately, I'm not unloading everything because, well, yeah, I'm gonna go like now this way. So now if I fall down, it's gonna be really weird. Okay, Corundum. Dumping that stuff in. And remember, I still have to get to the TDD. There we go. So that are the materials. Now we're gonna be dumping them in. I'm probably the worst person to dump the materials right where we need them to be. Okay. Now, cargo elevator has been put down. We're gonna be parking our ship nicely because, I mean, it's a rental. You don't want to pay insurance on the scratching. No, I'm just kidding. There is no insurance here. Where's the warning, guys? You can actually utterly wreck this ship and nobody would be the wiser, you know? You have it as a rental. Who cares? Now... Okay, we back it up a little bit forward, rotate. Make sure we land it pretty nicely. Right smack in the middle. There we go. It's gonna work. Perfect.
Your systems are offline.
My systems are offline. Now, there is one really cool thing that I like about Cutty Black, and that's this. Exit points everywhere. So you don't need to park super hard. The downside of the large hangar is that you need to run for miles until you actually get away from that ship, you know? It's actually quite far. See? Yeah. Okay, my point exactly. Now, let's go and we're gonna park that ship. You technically don't need to. We already stored our materials. But I just want to show you where the TDD is. Okay, store. Cutty Black, there we go. Bye-bye, it's going down. We still have a long way to go. So we're gonna be calling the elevator. Now, in order to succeed with this, we need to get out of the spaceport. And that's one thing which is, when you're selling your wares, it's a little bit, you know, off-putting, but it is what it is. So what we're gonna do now, all right, get me to Teasa Spaceport. Thank you very much. Cool. And now we need to get, by the way, if you want to buy ships, ships are that way in the store called New Deal. Now, everybody is apparently in some state of utter terror for whatever reason. That's completely unbeknown to me. I mean, it's a known bug where the NPCs... Okay, security saying green zone, red zone, whatever. Now, I'm going to the metro system, please. Yes. Now... we go to the metro center or towards the business district. We want to be going to the business district because we're gonna be doing business, you know.
On train tracks is a serious and dangerous offense.
Train is gonna be arriving in 35 seconds, so after a short wait, we're gonna be well on our way to the TDD.
First few days were rough, but
Hurston Security reserves the right to search travelers at any time. Now arriving. Stand by and let passengers disembark before boarding.
Okay, train arriving. You heard a lady. There we go. Stand by and allow passengers to disembark. Except that there's no passengers. Alrighty then. The train should be leaving in a couple of seconds. 2, 1, let's go. I really do like the train rides. I mean, nowadays when we spawn in the hangar, it's actually quite nice to take a train ride sometimes. We're going out and soon enough. Okay, we are going. There's the Teasa Spaceport. And by the way, this is actual live footage that you're seeing out there. So any ships landing would be the actual ships landing. That's really awesome. That's what I really love about Star Citizen. Anyway, that being said, we are going all the way to the business district. It is a short ride away, just like 33 seconds. Until we get to that monument that we almost rammed completely. So, next stop, Central Business District, 20 seconds away. Oh, look at that. I mean, that Hurston guy really had a huge ego problem. The statues of him are literally everywhere.
Disembarking the train.
Okay, time to disembark the train. And if you thought that he really had an ego issue, wait until we get on this platform. Now, yeah, I know. Some people just have ginormous egos. I mean, they whole named the entire planet after him. Now, let's go to the Central Business District where the TDD is located. We're gonna go with the entrance all the way up, and then on the left-hand side should be the Trade District. I mean, those are the biggest weapon manufacturer. Transfer, HD showcased, entrance, transfers. I guess it's here, I hope at least. Yeah, there we go. That's the TDD. Now, what we're gonna try and sell... Looks like a freaking stock exchange, I know.
Hi.
I'm trying to find a kiosk where I can sell my stuff. Oh no, this is the commodity shop, yeah. I'm just a dum-dum. Select location, Lorville. Year of the red envelope. So what can we sell? Look, we have the conundrum. See? Now we can sell max. And we're gonna do that. So that's a 3.7 thousand. Just for the conundrum. Okay. We sell it. Confirm. That's 3.7 thousand. We would have gotten 14,000 for the total cargo. So once again, max it. Sell it. That's like almost 8,000. I'm just curious how much we're gonna get. Okay, then we have the other. We're gonna max it out. Sell. Quality 540, 3.7 thousand. Okay. Awaiting manual delivery to freight elevator. I mean, we did that already. I don't know, who are you kidding? Okay. So we're selling a total of 2 units. Processing the order. There we go. See? Conundrum. Once again. Sell.
I'm completely off stims. Been about a week now. You hear about the
Okay. Then we have aluminium. 2.3 thousand. Sell. It would be really funny if it turns out to be that I've sold like more. Another 3,000. Yes. And another aluminium.
Hi.
So all in all, I think I've already...
Everything good?
Business is booming.
Okay.
Can't turn down
1 unit. Sell. Okay. So I didn't count how much that was, but hopefully I'm hoping that it was more than I've initially gotten. So that's fine. There we go. So we have successfully sold all of the components, and there we go. So we have finally sold all of our... So we have finally sold all of our materials, and that concludes our little tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. Like if you like this video, let me know if you would like more in-depth guides, and I'm gonna be seeing you in the next one. Thanks for watching.